What's the most unexpectedly funny thing that's ever happened to you during a family gathering? We were visiting an elderly relative because she didn't get out much after all. She was 95. We came in and her son tried to let us down gently, that she probably wasn't up for much visiting though this was a planned visit. Very next thing, we heard this woman holler at the top of her lungs, "I ain't dead yet," as she proceeds to run out of the back room to greet us. It was absolutely wild to watch this 95-year-old, 95 pounds woman practically run over my dad with her walker. My dad was trying to get whipped cream for his ice cream. We had one of those actual steel whipped cream dispensers you can put your own in or whatever. Something malfunctioned on it because while we were all sitting out in the living room we heard a loud shh, and my dad yell "motherfucker," and when we all ran in we found the entire kitchen absolutely destroyed with whipped cream even on the ceiling. He was so pissed but we couldn't stop laughing, it was so fucking funny. A ridiculous debate on whether taper candles should be lit briefly before a formal dinner so they aren't brand new and bourgeois as everyone sat for the meal. As everyone sounded off with serious opinions that grew in intensity, a family member who found the entire conversation growing contentious slapped the table and declared, "The Queen is not coming," and squelched the debate. It has become a catchphrase to quickly shut down a conversation. Since Thanksgiving 2015, my ultra-conservative parents invited the Old Widowers Church group over to celebrate. Dry, boring, creepy old dudes that love to reminisce about the Cal Poly days. Everyone is going around the table doing the "I'm thankful for" bullshit, and it's quiet and my mom sneezes and sharts right there at the dining table. I never wanted to sit on the Amish spindleback again. But even the tiny little 4 feet 5 inches Mr. McCormick laughed at that one. My godfather's funeral. On the way to the burial site, a sway bar broke on the hearse. We were on the interstate and pulled into the rest stop immediately. There was no backup hearse available, so the funeral got delayed a day. While we waited for a tow truck, a local TV crew was pulling in, and we made the news that night. The next day, he had his final rest. Transported via the suburban working van. All of the little kids got dollar store dart guns from a family member dressed as Santa. My cousin, after a few drinks, shot a dart at my grandma's head from across the kitchen. Later, out of nowhere, while they were standing next to each other, she hits him square in the nuts. I haven't been to a family Christmas in years. I imagine they haven't changed much. Thanksgiving 1985, we were all laying around watching TV and out of the corner of my eye I see my little brother slowly backing his ass up to my aunt, who is a joker herself, then proceeded to rip the nastiest fart ever right in her face at point blank range. I've never seen someone come up so fast, the funniest thing I've ever seen. R.I.P. Steve-O. My grandmother had a jar full of MMS one Christmas. She told the family to write down their guesses as to how many MMS were in the jar. Closest guess wins a prize. Everyone gets their guesses and only to find out my grandmother had no idea how many MMS were in the jar. We laugh about it 25 years later. Accidentally exposing myself to everyone at my grandmother's 82nd birthday party. I standing next to a swing making a small speech. My shorts got hung on the swing and when I walked my shorts went all the way down to my knees. It was embarrassing to say the least. Christmas morning, we were opening gifts. My Mill is opening a gift from her husband, and freaks out. She mistook a new electric screwdriver for a dildo. She saw the general shape of it, and threw it across the room. We all knew what she thought it was. When I was a child, our neighbor was known to be quite the recreational fisher with coveted secret spots. During a family barbecue I announced to everyone that she was going to show me her base hole. 45 years later this is what people remember about me. Got drunk in front of my great-grandmother and started to shit-talk my entire family in a baby voice to my baby niece while the entire family thought I was out of line. My great-grandmother thought it was hilarious and that I had valid points. 2 of my now ex-wife's sister's kids were arguing about something. One of them goes to the fridge to get something and the argument continues. At one point, the refrigerator says to the other, "Don't make me take this hot dog after you." Smiley face. Thoughtful face. My grandmother's pants falling down to her ankles while she was carrying the turkey to the table for Christmas dinner. It was 40 years ago and I will never forget how hard everyone laughed. My cousin decided to demonstrate his magic skills and accidentally turned the family dog blue. Turns out, it was just some safe color spray, but the dog looked like a Smurf for a week. Neighbor's giant hog got loose and went for a stroll down the road. He was chasing her down with a stick and she was holding up traffic. It was a fun show on a Thanksgiving day. My grandma tried virtual reality for the first time and started dancing with the virtual dancers. She was so into it, She didn't realize we were all watching and joining in. My brother brought a friend to Christmas dinner. When my father asked what he does for a living, he said, "I hunt Bigfoot." He was serious. Many funny questions followed. My uncle, who's terrible at tech, somehow managed to change the language settings on his phone to Chinese. Watching him try to navigate it had everyone in stitches. My niece was telling everyone mommy and daddy got into a wrestling match last night. Turns out they were just have really loud sex lol. Not me, but my dad as a kid took a shit in the fireplace and went around bragging about it. My grandma still brings it up to this day. During dinner, my little nephew shouted, "Look, I'm a fountain," and started spitting water everywhere. It was a mess, but hilarious. Hosting brunch, was running the dishwasher post-meal prep, started quite literally shooting flames out. So that was exciting. My cousin walked in on our grandparents having sex, and when he went to tell his parents, he walked in on them having sex. Many people share unexpected hilarity from family gatherings, such as accidental pranks or amusing misunderstandings. The cat jumped on the table and stole the turkey right off the plate. It was like a scene from a cartoon. I changed my top in a closet where I didn't know my nephew was hiding during hide and seek.